Hey, TTRPG and RPG friends and family. Are you someone who enjoys predetermined menu items? Or do you prefer making your characters a la carte? Let's discuss real quick. So you've got Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition. And when I first saw that, I kind of thought, hey, this is kind of ingenious. People went ahead and they didn't give me classes or defined abilities. They instead said, here's all the pieces to build it. Took me a minute to realize I've done this before. I've played Hero System, I've played Champion, I've played GURPS, but for years I've been playing games like, yeah, Pathfinder, Dungeons& and Dragons lower on the shelf where it belongs, where everything was predetermined and pre-packaged. Select item A, you get all these things. Select item B, you get all these things. Even Savage Worlds, right? Savage Worlds does this a lot. Where it's not a class, it's not a selection of options, but those options they have are pretty neatly and well defined. In Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition or 3.5, what we saw was a whole bunch of predefined options. Classes, prestige classes, races, variant races. You select these items and you get these things. In 4th edition and then 5th edition, 2014 and now 2024, we are seeing that they stepped away from all those definitions. Nothing's as hardcore and strict and well defined. In 3rd edition, if you wanted to make a samurai, there were different ways to do it. You might start with the fighter and then take specific prestige classes. You might take a samurai and you may or may not go into prestige classes after that. Then in 4th edition and then 5th edition, they really stripped a lot of that away. Here's a fighter. Pick the couple abilities that you think will fit into your trope better. Absolutely nothing wrong with this. I could have a fighter, you could have a fighter, my fighter might be more of a swashbuckler, your fighter might be more of a samurai, his fighter might be sword and board, her fighter might be a great weapon fighter. They were all fighter, they had different abilities, but a lot of their abilities were also the same. And that's okay. It allowed us to build our trope without having to put out too many more options. Wizards of the Coast did not fail to put out additional options over time, though. Unearthed Arcana and different splat books, they would put out things that would give you something to build more into a specific trope. Make no mistake, they're going to continue doing that. What I find interesting is how they're giving more leeway by removing the abilities like they did from species, which that's a whole nother discussion, and putting them with backgrounds. Now there's, well, it's not a defined +2 and +1 or +2 and +2 and -1 or whatever math you want to work out. Here's some options. You could put +2 in one, you could put +1 in one, you could put +1 across three. You figure it out, you build the character you want to fit your fantasy and your trope. And again, nothing wrong with that. And there have been people who have taken 5th edition and earlier editions and stripped away what makes a race or a species what it is, what makes background what it is, what makes a class what it is. There is classless D&D out there. I know some people say that D&D is classless in and of itself. Again, another discussion. You've got these options that are predetermined and prepackaged, and then there are games that specialize in not giving you any of those prepackaged options, and they allow you to do different things in each style. I think what we're seeing now is we're going more toward a blandness in the base options to allow us to build certain things. I do not think Wizards of the Coast or Dungeons and Dragons will ever get away from these package deals. They continue going the way they're going, especially when we look toward microtransactions. It is going to be a lot easier to sell a splat book or an option on their VTT as a character package with a number of different abilities than it's going to be to sell me one ability. So there's something to consider. I just thought it was interesting as I looked and was not upset, but not impressed with the options and the flavor provided in the core book. On the one hand, this is great. It's not driving me into any particular direction. It's giving me a lot of playroom. Is that coming at a cost? I don't know. What do you guys think? Until I see you again, remember to be well, be safe, and be awesome, both to yourself and one another.